Well, of course you didn't get to hear the whole program because you weren't there, and we want to keep that a secret so that next year you'll actually come and see our spring conference, whether it be in Lacombe or Red Deer, who knows, maybe even Innisfail. In the afternoon we spent time listening to all of these speakers from the two groups. I'm not going to give you anything more than a very brief introduction to say that didn't tape them all, but just a few moments at the beginning of each speaker from the afternoon's program.
I love my garden one lit nights after all the snow and ice. Seed my flowers in my rooms, start them off to early blooms. Quick they grow, no space to move, the jungle pushed against my roof. My love puts out, I bring them in, follow the sun and peaks in the wind. Late May, the snows keep falling steady, buds burst forth, aroma heady. I'm smothering in my bed, cabin fever rears its head. Enough, I cry, spring to my feet, get out of there at useful speed. Pull out my bike and splish and splash, ride it laughing through the slush.
So here's a crazy kid from Canmore. I'm a crazy kid from Canmore, I just love the mountain scene. I'm not rich and I'm not famous, and I'm only 17. I like living in the valley, I like breathing mountain air, I like hiking, I like biking, skiing powder when it's there. I'm from Gleason, I'm from Pictou, I'm from Bigger, I'm from Love, from Toronto and Vancouver. I'm from all of the above. I'm a cook at Kananaskis, I'm a lifty at Louise, I teach ESL on Saturdays to all the Japanese. I'm a barmaid, I'm a cabbie, I wash dishes, I deliver, my big job just makes the money, so that when I go, I give her. I don't live on Eagle Terrace.
Yes. My choice today is a story I call The Chicken or the Egg. In our family, Mom was the patron saint of lost causes when it came to animals. At different times when we were kids, I can remember baby piglets in a box on the oven door, more than one baby calf on a mat in front of the coal and wood range, and day-old baby chicks in a box in the kitchen. Most of these times, these babies were just overnight visitors. As soon as they had warmed up and had some nourishment, they'd go back outside to their mothers, usually leaving our mother with some sort of mess to clean up. Mom also took care of orphaned calves, twins that their moms wouldn't accept, stray dogs, and cats that were dropped off on the road. The chickens were Mom's main responsibility because ultimately they put groceries on our table. Back in the 1950s, a hatchery in Lacombe supplied day-old chicks, turkeys, ducklings, and goslings for the local area. Mom would spend days fixing up the brooder house. It always needed a good cleaning before the new babies arrived.
First one I'm going to read is called Right On. Ah, the writer's life. What could be better? String together some catchy words and a catchy story, polish it up a bit, send it off to a prominent publisher who's certain to recognize it as the next Harry Potter, and it's life on Easy Street. Millions of copies printed, bestseller list, probably a couple of spots on Oprah, jetting around the countryside, doing signings, readings to throngs of admiring fans who have waited for hours in the rain outside the bookstore just to ensure they get their precious copy, which they immediately take home and devour, no doubt after phoning in sick. Then for a little downtime, sipping Coronas on the beach at Cancun, scrolling emails on a BlackBerry. I've got to make sure the mailbox is large enough, and scrutinizing bank accounts just to monitor the royalty situation. And while in the peaceful serenity of Cancun, a perfect place to ponder on the second installment, a sequel which will surely do better than the first one, demanding an advance from the publisher for, let's say, $100,000 to even start thinking about it.
The one I brought today is called the Wilderness Camp. Camp, by most standards, is by a lake with canoes, cabins, and of course, a mess hall. structured and fun. You can even go home if it's absolutely necessary. But what if it's a different kind of camp? Suppose camp is high atop the mountain ranges of central British Columbia. And let's just say getting up to the top means an 8-hour uphill march with a 30-pound backpack strapped to your scrawny 15-year-old shoulders. I'm talking about Outward Bound Wilderness Camp, and it is the summer of 1968. I wasn't really a bad kid, but I was a rebel that lacked direction. As most rebs are, I was misunderstood with no real guidance. And I was standing at the crossroads of grief and misery. So when I became a candidate for this gig, it was already a foregone conclusion. I was going.
My name is Patricia Glanville. I would like to thank you for the opportunity of listening to me reading this afternoon. My husband and I are architects and landscape architects in Macomb, and I would like to address a topic that I believe has been very important to me my whole life, and that is sense of place and belonging in the environment or the world. Not unlike many Canadians, my husband and I moved west for work and family opportunities. Arriving to Lacombe about 5 years ago via Calgary and then Red Deer, we originally hailed from Winnipeg. Our immediate family have lived here for 5 years and have grown to know people who have deep roots of family that have lived here for generations, many leaving tremendous cultural and historical contributions in their wake. Clearly, these people have carved out a sense of place, a culturally rooted understanding of the meaning of their existence and attachment to a place. My husband, Jürgen Hartloper, and I are first-generation Canadians.
This short story was originally entitled Mississippi Mule because it was about people who ran drugs in Mississippi. Special Agent Garth Moore began to take an interest in what the old man was saying. Apparently, this first thing Monday morning conversation wasn't going to be another excessive lecture. Garth never used excessive force. If there was a problem, it lay with genetics. At 193 centimeters, 6'4½", Garth could be considered excessive. He couldn't help it if what seemed to him an appropriate level of force was interpreted by some as excess. His investigative technique was to lean on retail-level pushers, pimps, and prostitutes for information. Not exactly your classic image of a federal investigator, but he did seem to get results. That's why the old man had, for 14 years, limited his disapproval to a semi-monthly lecture.
So as I mentioned earlier, that was just the first part of the afternoon's speakers. Many, many thanks to Marguerite de Graaf for all of the work that she did. Many thanks to the people at the Lacombe Memorial Center for being so kind and helping us out in so many different ways. To the palate pleasers for a wonderful lunch. And if you want to know more, check out Writers Inc., writersinc.net on the internet. Thanks for dropping by.